VPN at technophilespodcast.com. I'm David Geisler, and this is the Technophiles Podcast. All right, everyone, we are back. This is episode 302, part 2 of episode 302, and here we are. We are back from the break. Mm-hmm. And Jake and Vee, I'm here with Jake Gill and Vee Laabs. I'm introducing him. I'm just so excited he's closer. I'm introducing him first.
Yeah,
I apologize, Vee.
Sorry, Vee.
Vee's like, my seniority!
I see how it is. Ugh.
I'm on the show for 2 years, and what do I get?
This is what I get.
Billing.
Second billing.
Talk to your lawyers.
However, Vee...
Talk to Ross.
Yeah, Jake signed a better deal than you up here. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm
Ross,
totally joking.
Ross, help me.
So we're going to talk about the Nissan Leaf here, but during the break, we got to chit-chatting a little bit about what's going on with
House of Representatives.
Can you? This is happening right now. We're recording
Yeah.
this on Wednesday, June 22nd. This is actually going to come out on Saturday. Vee, what's going on right now? Let's talk about it real quick.
Right now, a bunch of representatives and senators are doing a sit-in in Congress as we speak. You've probably heard about it by now. Mm-hmm. And
Hopefully.
Hopefully, they're hoping for to reform some common sense gun laws. And they enacted a sit-in, but C-SPAN, which doesn't have control of its own cameras, evidently had their cameras turned off.
Right.
Within the House of
sit-in's
Representatives.
Been going for a while now, right?
It started at 11 o'clock this morning.
Oh, is that all? I thought maybe there was a day or two going in. Okay.
Nope,
All
it's
right.
been going. It's been going for quite a few hours now.
So the mainstream television cameras got turned off.
They got turned off. So C-SPAN, still wanting to report and show what's going on in Congress right now and give them a voice, is using Periscope and Facebook Live to broadcast what's going on there. There are senators on the floor, or representatives on the floor, like Representative John Lewis, Scott Peters from South Dakota.
Who is literally Periscoping right now.
Who is literally
You have it up on your
Periscoping
phone right
as
now.
we speak, like on the floor at the podium. It's pretty incredible.
That's awesome. And Jake, I can't help but think about a few weeks ago on, I don't know, an episode, maybe 10 episodes ago, you said something like, yeah, someday it'll be, and now, the mainstream media, and now we cut live, quote, now we cut live to so-and-so who's on the street. Mm-hmm. Well, it's literally happening right now.
It's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's already happening.
In the absence of traditional broadcasting technology,
and this has actually happened before, right? Where people were using, maybe not Periscope or Facebook Live.
Where a television
Twitter,
station is streaming
Periscope? But where television stations are using social media to report, to really get the facts and get in.
Mm-hmm.
So, this
on
is
the ground.
pretty cool.
I mean, right now, C-SPAN's literally, they're just, I'm saying literally too much. They're relying on people Periscoping inside that room right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about the data charges and glad that companies that probably, I don't know, whatever. I don't want to get into
I wonder what the Wi-Fi is like.
If there's Wi-Fi there, there's no big deal.
In Congress, yeah.
So, Vee, what do you think?
So that gets turned off, or they get throttled.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
But what's going on? So right now, you were watching it a little bit. While we were getting set up to record part 2 here. Mm-hmm. What were you observing?
Well, they're all on the ground right now. Many of the representatives are taking turns speaking at the podium. John Lewis just finished up speaking, and he was the fellow who kind of really introduced, kind of kicked off the whole sit-in, I guess you could say.
Right.
He made a very impassioned speech. But really, they're just taking turns speaking.
What's the hashtag right now?
It is hashtag no bill, no break.
No bill, no break.
Yeah, so they intend to stay there until they get to vote on a bill, because Congress has just been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off as a whole, and they're totally fed up with it. And there needs to be progress made. Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's being covered.
Yeah.
So cool.
Technology.
Well, I know. That's really, I wanted you to bring it up because I was so excited about
That's crazy.
That's
Facebook
such a
Live
cool
and Periscope
application.
becoming a legitimate, camera, really.
Yeah. Like, it's wild. It's pretty cool.
I mean, granted, if C-SPAN had their cameras going, and we don't know why they got turned off, is it because C-SPAN does have a weird thing where it's like, it's always like one or two cameras is in. I know, like, when people do not presidential speeches, but like at these dinners,
in Congress.
If someone's right, they have to like submit all their stuff ahead of time, so the cameras know to cut to someone. It all has to be approved ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so C-SPAN, it is something different than like a normal news.
Yeah.
It's obviously not private or anything. They can't do whatever they want.
Paul Ryan evidently has control over that and ordered the cameras to be turned off.
I see.
So
Very interesting.
hopefully he doesn't turn the Wi-Fi off. It just unplugs the router.
AT&T and Verizon's like, yes. Oh man, we're really making it today.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
All right. Let's get back to
there goes
electric
two potential sponsors.
What's that? There goes those two. Yeah, AT&T's really been courting us.
They're not going to anymore.
No.
Sorry, we still have Boeing.
We use
Friday.
we use AT&T here at the studio as our internet provider, to be honest. And I have AT&T account on my iPhone and my iPad.
And our pockets are open.
Okay, guys. So we just got done in part 1 talking all about BMW making wall-mounted batteries and house batteries and recyclable batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Doing stuff with cars and electricity.
Things with cars and electricity. And you know what, Jake? I was kind of thinking about this over the break. I didn't express it until I kind of decided to save it for the show here a little bit. But a long time ago, I said to you something like, oh, I'm not really a car guy. And I kind of am not, but I'm finding myself getting really excited about electric cars. And I'm wondering if this can be an entry point for me. Because, I mean, I know the concepts of how an engine works and things, but some of the, obviously, a lot of the details, it's not, I just never learned. Mm-hmm. This is kind of an interesting point for me, personally speaking, to like, oh, I can kind of learn a little bit about some of this, and maybe this makes me a car guy. Maybe in 10 years, I'm like really into it.
I mean,
but I'm very curious and excited
about. I think that we need a wave of electric car guys and girls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
And hopefully, with cars like you're going to tell us about, then we don't have to spend $100,000.
Well, that's what's kind of interesting about the story I found. Yeah, I actually appreciate the segue, Jake. Thank you.
I'm gonna read it.
So the Nissan.
Boom.
The Nissan. He read this. He read the room and made the right choice. It's a little warm here. It's been thunderstorming out tonight, and so it's really muggy in the studio right now.
It's kind of.
Vee's fanning herself down.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, the Nissan Leaf, we actually had an episode about the Nissan Leaf. I feel like I say this every single time we have a story, but it is fun to kind of cut back. It's before any of you were on the show, when Nissan was, I think it was Tina Urch's story back in season maybe 5, if I had to guess. And it was cool that Nissan basically just said, hey, we're going to make an electric car too. And people were like, okay, they didn't care too much. We'll see. They didn't have any amazing stats. It wasn't going to be like this Model S thing. It was just going to be another electric car.
We'll give it a shot, yeah.
Yeah, sure. And it's existed. And some people drive versions of it and things like that.
I remember there was like a whole movement to try to get it to be cool.
Yeah, there was a marketing movement.
Yeah, it was like a weird thing. It was like, oh, we got to like come up with like.
I like the name genuinely.
The Leaf.
The Leaf, yeah.
It's good.
But I don't think it needs a hand signal that you make at other people who are driving Leafs.
Yeah, it was just a bad marketing campaign. But
it happens on motorcycles.
But the whole thing is the car, the Leaf is, I would say, not exactly, but it's similar to the concept of the Model 3, where it's really trying to be just a base, middle ground kind of car. They're trying to do the thing where I guess we could say regular people could buy this car. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think it's in the same price range exactly.
What's the price?
As the S. It's like $30,000.
Oh.
Okay.
Or not the S, the 3. The 3 I think can push up to 40, 45.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that I had in my checkout cart was like 42.
42? Oh. You probably had a few things added on.
All of the things.
I think if you went all the way down, the Model 3, the Tesla Model 3.
You can't do a checkout cart actually, but like the price based on the website was like if you want the fast Model 3.
Right. Yeah. And if you want to just get the lowest version of a Model 3 that
35.
works, it's about 35.
Wow.
And I know that I think when they originally announced the 3, when Tesla originally announced the 3, they said 30, and then it did go up a little bit. But that's fine. 30, 35 is still in the range that someone could finance that. Of course, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's
reasonable.
It's not $100,000.
It's not $100,000, and the reality too is that with tax credits that you get from returns and cost savings, like really the price drops pretty significantly when you're looking at a lot of those figures. Like it's hard to calculate when you're like, I'm going to go and spend $35,000, but if you do 3 to 5 years of really looking at the numbers, like it's not bad.
Yeah, it's really not. And actually, I think technically the base version of this Nissan Leaf that's proposed to come out in 2018, this one that's the one I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
I think it had like a $7,500 tax write-off, so it might have technically been like a $37,000.
Yeah, they
and
can
then it goes down to
30,000 a little bit on that stuff. Yeah.
A lot of this info I'm getting off of extremetech.com, off an article written by Bill Howard, and so this is where I'm getting a lot of these numbers. And that's what he was talking about. So anyway, I'll just jump right into it here. I've kept an eye on the Leaf. I'm not like a huge fan, but I've kept an eye on it. But I'm kind of excited about what they're announcing here. The big thing that was exciting about the Model S, and even the one before Autopilot, the one that Crystal Lee spoke about an episode ago, the one that you spoke about many episodes ago, was that it could get the big hurdle was, could you get 200 miles of drive distance out of a single charge?
Yeah.
And I remember Tesla getting very excited when they could achieve that. Now it's commonplace. I have some notes here. Tesla can get like 294 miles off a charge now. Those a Model S.
Yep. If you get all the bells and whistles and the extended range or whatever. Yep.
The bigger batteries, the better batteries, all that, you can get almost 300 miles on a charge.
That's incredible.
Awesome. It's really cool.
And then have it charge up in 30 minutes again?
So, and that depends on where you're charging. They're designed to have, you can have super fast charging stations. If you're just charging it in your garage at home, it might be more of an overnight thing. There could be stations where you just plug in, but these there's one down on the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Yep. There's a supercharging station. I've taken a picture at it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I don't even, I was just excited to see it.
I think I drove past that once. That and a Tesla dealership, and I was like,
yes. Well, there's one down in Illinois.
Yeah.
I was trying to, a few years ago, to organize maybe like a test drive or something, and maybe we could still try to do that with TPN. But anyway.
That'd be fun. Group field trip.
We all go test drive. We'll try. Maybe at the end of season 8 or something,
we're all just friends and we all want to try this.
Pooey and I want to get one someday. We'll just call you up.
Maybe we just tack it as a whole thing.
Yeah, field trip.
Do it as a field trip. Technophiles field trip. Or I tell you what, even if it's just you and Pooey, Jamie, I'll come along with like a little camera and record it. Yeah. But anyway,
we'll do it live.
Facebook Live it. Periscope it. One of the two. Yeah. One of the two.
Whichever one wins in a few years.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Because Periscope's owned by Twitter, right?
Yep.
There it is. So basically it's Twitter. Okay, fine. Let's get back on it. So the thing that's interesting is that Nissan has released news that this next Nissan Leaf will be able to achieve the 200 miles per charge kind of hurdle, right? This is a big thing.
Yeah.
And it's really important because a lot of cars before that are getting, sometimes it's down to like 50 or 80 miles a charge. I had a coworker that had an electric car and she could only really drive to work and back. It was an older car. She bought it many years ago. It was not, obviously every year batteries get better, charging gets better. We know the numbers are in everybody's favor. Yeah. But she had an older one. And that's really, that was the state of electric cars a couple years ago. We all know it.
Yep.
That's the major concern still for so many people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Even with the 200-mile range, which I think a lot of people don't maybe fathom. 200 miles.
It's a lot.
It's far.
It's very far. It's very far. Going to work and back might, even if you're commuting an hour, it might only be not even 100 miles, right? Like 50 miles or something. Yeah, if you drive down to Racine or Kenosha from here, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You could do Chicago and back almost in 200 miles.
Yeah, and maybe that's why that charging station is on the Wisconsin-Illinois border, just to point that out. So anyway, though, so Nissan announced that they have a version that's going to come out. Now, this next Nissan Leaf actually has 3 tiers of battery, and I'm just going to go through those real quick.
Okay.
It's true that...
It's the Netflix model.
The base... but that's kind of what's interesting about these batteries in these cars is you can have tiers. Maybe, Jake, is it similar to getting like a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder? You get other things. You get things
I mean, cars just come with options, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we're more to the point of it's like on demand, production where you pick your car and then they build it for you just because they're getting so efficient with that.
Yeah. So, right. Yeah, you're ordering these things.
You're ordering it, and basically they're kind of looking at inventory and saying, "Do we have this?" If they don't, they put you on a waiting list, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll build it for you
when we have it."
You know what I mean?
That's definitely how it works for Teslas.
Yeah.
You just go to a website.
So what are the 3?
So the Nissan Leaf has an existing model right now that is 24. Is it kilowatt hours? Right? Is that a kWh?
KWH.
I actually don't know.
Kilowatts per hour.
24 kilowatt hours, and that can range. That's their best-selling model right now, and of course, this next Nissan Leaf will have that as well.
Yep.
But that only gets about 84 miles, so that is kind of like a city car. I mean, 84 miles is still a bit.
I mean, that is a daily commuter car where you're like,
absolutely,
I'm not leaving the city with this thing.
And that's the Leaf that has been the most popular so far.
Okay.
Their best-selling model. After that, then it goes up to 30, and that range can be around 107 miles. Again, all these numbers are coming from extremetech.com. And last but not least, what Nissan's really excited about, the big announcement, is a 60 kilowatt hour battery, and that can go up to 220 miles. So that's the one that's breached. That may not be the 30,000 model, let's face it, but it's definitely not going to be 100,000. It's still they're still trying to position this.
It's that mid class.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Mid-size sedan.
You're going to finance it, but you can probably afford it.
Yep.
Type of thing.
Yep.
So this is really cool because what I want to get back to is
it's a realistic monthly payment for people that want to be more conscious with their vehicle.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have plenty of friends that have, exactly. You get like a $40,000 car, and you just save up, and there it is. That's your thing, or $50,000, whatever. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So 30 is totally in that range. The reason the 200 miles is so important is you guys might remember, and Jake, you might know this, and actually Vee, you might as well. A couple of years ago, Elon Musk got really excited because you could technically drive a Tesla all the way across the country. They had installed enough charging stations for Teslas specifically.
Yeah.
They were all less than, and there's a whole map of where all the stations are, and even the Tesla GPS can like show you how to get to the next station, tell you if you have enough battery to get there, stuff like that. And they're just adding more and more and more. Now, this is why in part one I kind of asked, is this a standardized thing or not? Because now does Nissan have to make their own charging stations? Are you pulling up to a motel and plugging into a wall all night?
Other investment for them.
I mean, you could do that, but I really just hope that.
I hope it's standardized. We got to find out. I didn't even, and I'm sorry, I would have researched that, but I didn't even think about that until part one.
Yeah.
Until we were recording part one.
Well, I think at some point we'll do. You know, there's going to be some Apple.
When we come back from break. Well, 2020 is the Apple car right now.
That's true. I wonder if it's going to be. Like
Let me just see.
iPhone.
Let me see what you can find. Because the point I'm trying to make is once we get cars that go over 200 miles per charge, now you have a car that can be a national car, not international, of course, but a car that can realistically you can travel with. You're not just commuting with. And so Nissan wanted to get their car up into that range, and they did.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come out in 2018, so there's still a little bit of time here.
Okay.
This can be compared with like there's things like the Chevy Bolt and Tesla. The Tesla S. Okay, fine.
Yeah. How's
the
a
Tesla
Bolt
S
doing?
here, can get 294 on a 90 kilowatt hour battery. That's like the really high end one.
That's the top model. It's like 116.
Dang.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's
but those
impressive.
things are else. That's the ludicrous mode one.
Yeah.
That's the ludicrous
It
mode.
goes-
It's the
It
bells
goes-
and whistles.
Yeah.
Do you guys know much about the Bolt, the Chevy Bolt? I don't.
I don't. What? Yeah, I was wondering what's going on with the Bolt.
The Volt.
The
Oh,
Chevy
no, the Volt.
Bolt, because there's a Volt as
The
well.
Volt is the hybrid, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about the Volt.
Bolt, lightning bolt, electricity.
Don't know.
Oh,
Makes sense.
yeah. I don't know.
Jake's still doing a little bit of fact checking here,
Yeah.
so I'm stalling a little bit.
I'm just.
I really hope. I've said this before. I hope.
I mean, they're talking like Edmunds has like home charger for your plug-in car.
I mean, you can technically plug these things into walls. It just is a big drain. It's better to have actual power stations.
Yeah.
And then, of course, these speed power, like the Tesla speed stations, are the ones that are actually out there by the shopping malls and the interstates, and basically they're just gas stations.
So I guess we should can I?
We can follow up on it.
A Volt
On a Tesla power station.
On
Yeah.
a Leaf.
Yeah, Leaf on a. We're doing this on the show right now.
Yeah. I
While
wonder.
Jake does that, let me ask you, V, is this?
Charge station?
So I have a car right now. It's not a fancy car at all. I have never in my life yet purchased a fancy car or a real family car or whatever yet. I've kind of nickeled and dimed it and bought used cars along the way so far.
Exactly.
I've often thought to myself, man, I think the first car I actually buy is going to be an electric car, even if it's 8 years from now.
Yeah.
And now that we've got these the Model 3s coming down to about 30,000, the Leaf at 30,000, this is getting realistic.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all that?
I think that's great that having them actually be feasible, and we're in that very comfortable portion of where they've advanced the technology enough where you can drive it like a regular car.
Let me ask you this. You and I both live in the city.
Yes.
You and I both live in apartments in the city.
Mm-hmm.
How do you charge your car when it's parked on the street? For any electric car. I just thought about this.
That's a good point. I don't know. Extension
at
cords?
home, it makes sense. You have a garage, or if you're in a house, in a suburb or something. Jake, do you have any ideas on that? I don't mean to pull you off of your internet search. We both live in the city.
Yeah.
We both park our cars on the street.
There's usually outside.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it.
How do you do it?
You'd have to have a port.
Even when I lived downtown, I had a public lot that I parked in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I guess you would have to
parking
charge.
needs to change.
Parking starts
Maybe
maybe they have
need enough
stations that offer that.
We need the percentage of electric cars on the road needs to be high enough that we're incentivized as a society to install these things.
Because I tell you what you're not going to do when you live in the city. You're not going to take your car out of the public lot or even the pay lot. I lived in an apartment building that had a pay lot.
Yeah.
I pull it out. I'm not going to go, quote unquote, quick charge for 30 minutes at a station while I drink my Starbucks.
No, but you could
then,
charge it
head
at
out.
work maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be charged. So really, you'd actually be charging it not when you're at home. It'd be it'd almost be an inverse.
You could do it.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of looking here, and really what it comes down to, guys, on these charge stations, is that they're called EVSEs. They're like electric vehicle supply equipment. And like what happens at a charge station all depends on the type of EVSE that is at the station. So a different EVSE, which is just the equipment in general, is going to have different voltages that they'll put out.
Oh.
And so
at that point, is it just physical?
It's going to be depending on what generations they have installed at those charge stations. So if a modern enough charge station is there, it'll have a few different plugs. It's kind of like
interesting
cell phone chargers at an airport.
Right?
Like you have a couple.
Or whatever.
So the thing that's charging the car is just going to have a variety of plugs for you, and then you find the one that you need.
So that is when we assume that there's companies that just make charging stations and they make a profit off that. If we're talking about specifically these kind of famous Tesla charging stations, that might be a different situation.
That might the supercharged thing. I mean, I know that he has the prototype is out there for other people to use it.
You know,
but
it's
the question
true.
is
like
whether or not they're going to.
It is open source. Nissan could conceivably make an adapter that would just work there, maybe legally,
or a third party affiliate like someone who's just they'll make an adapter.
It's true.
Right?
That is possible.
It just depends on what the regulation is on that stuff. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
That's interesting, though. We're gonna have to follow up on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so what I was kind of hinting at before, and I know that we haven't talked to our listeners and viewers and things about too much of like the changes coming up for the future of Technophiles.
Like,
as far as,
we're gonna change our format a little when we come back from break.
So I'm
really
just
excited.
thinking that inevitably in the second half of season 8 or season 9 or whatever, we'll have some new slick news about some of these things coming out, and maybe we can just spend a more detailed segment on just the state of electric cars in general.
Yeah, I'm really excited. The new format is going to allow us to quickly speak about more topics, but then also really dive deeper into certain topics.
And I think that what's happening too is like with this topic today, I mean, there was so much information that you were finding out about Leaf, and you almost can't talk about these cars or these products or whatever they're doing without also putting in the context of what's going on.
That's true.
Which is why the other format I think will be really nice
fantastic.
for that.
So it's probably episode 305 or 6 or
yeah,
something.
we'll just jump right back in. We'll be like, we're not, David is full-fledged electric car guy, and he's in. So.
Oh, I love the idea. We've spent our 20 minutes or so here, so I think we should go to break. We'll come back in part 3
More
to
affordable electric cars, though. It's awesome.
Yeah, right. Really, that's what it's too. For
I'm
me, the thing that caught my attention about this article, because there were a few other things I was going to talk about. What caught my attention was I'm just really excited about whenever there's two things that are exciting about electric cars.
Yes.
There's the high ends that are breaking new ground, but then it's also just as interesting when things are coming down into, I'll call it normal zone.
Yes.
The more it gets, the more it can get saturated is also equally as interesting.
That's really
It's
exciting.
probably more interesting, I think, in the long run. Like pushing the envelope is good, but I think that with enough, I mean, a lot of companies have proven that if you spend enough money, like you can kind of do something. But it might even be like gimmicky. Doing it well is tough, and really like thank you Tesla for kind of doing that.
Yeah.
Because they just broke the mold. They were like, look, electric cars don't have to be lame.
They don't have to be lame, right? Yeah. And now we can have electric cars that are meant for everyone, or at least we're getting closer.
They're not just luxury.
Right. But there's also, there's like racing leagues that are electric.
We had an entire episode about that, of the first Formula E.
Yeah.
Year 2, it was year 1 of a now annual Formula E race. I got to look it up again because coming up on
there's a new Formula car that just came out, and it's 0 to 60 acceleration is 2.2 seconds, which is faster than the fastest car in the world.
Wow.
It's
That's
nuts.
cool.
This thing rips so hard. I want to drive it. I just want to be like,
I feel like Norway's just sitting there rubbing their hands.
They're like, yes,
perfect.
We are ready for the changes. Exactly.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. We're going to come back in part 3, V, to talk about not tailgating robots. What was it?
Ticket scalping.
Tailgating robots. Ticket scalping robots.
That's going to be next.
It's all in the same.
The robots are doing everything.
Can't wait for it. We'll hear all about that in part 3. I'm losing my focus here a little bit. All right, so let's see. If people want to tweet me a little bit more about this, they can find me on Twitter at RaptorPaint. Of course, we love it when people tweet the show at Technophiles Pod, or find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, and YouTube by searching Technophiles Podcast. And if they have anything they want to contribute to this, we will definitely do like a little bit of a mailbag if anybody wants to email us at technophilespodcast@gmail.com. And they're welcome to tweet us too, but if you have a few more thoughts on that. Of course, you can also leave comments on our website now for every single episode.
You
at technophilespodcast.com. I got that code integrated in. The only difference is it's hard. Some of it's hard HTML, so it's this episode forward. The comments aren't in a PHP, so they're not in our old episodes. But from here forward now.
Yeah, that's fine. You can email us or whatever. And
it'll be fine.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Great.
Do it.
All right, guys.
We want to hear from people. You know, it'd be
I want to hear what people think. We get a lot of comments on YouTube and stuff. Maybe we'll start integrating those into the show a little bit more too. When we hear stuff back.
Yeah.
I love it.
Maybe if people are commenting on YouTube and they'd like, hey, we don't mind. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like an email, if we're asking for an email, you're already kind of giving permission. In a way, like
That's a good point.
You have a comment that you want us to hear about. Whereas,
we don't want to just like ape off on YouTube comments. That's very fair, Jake. Technophiles Podcast at gmail.com. Fantastic. We're looking for you.
Yeah, we are.
We're waiting for you.
Yeah.
Just send that email.
It's fine.
Cool kids are doing it. All the cool kids are doing it. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, man. The
Come on, man.
cool kid.
All the
cool bully
dudes.
bot. That's
the bully bot. TPN bully bot. That's what our Facebook Messenger bot is going to just be like, come on, dude.
Come on.
What's the problem, bro?
Come on, dude. Don't you want to give some feedback? Leave a 5-star rating, you dork.
We're getting out of here.
There is no dismissed button.
Oh, wait, that reminds me, too. I got to start. I never say this anymore. Please rate us on iTunes. It really, really helps us climb the charts.
Yeah. Do it or I'll bully bot will give you a wedgie.
Bully bot's going to give you a wedgie.
A virtual wedgie.
Yeah.
This podcast is great. Best wedgie I ever had. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Well, that took a weird turn.
Bully bot.
It took a weird turn.
You know what? Take my lunch money. I love this podcast.
That's one of our Patreon rewards should just be like lunch money. Like, take your lunch money.
Yeah,
I'm really excited because we're going to be launching Patreon when we come back for break 2. But this is like the longest outro ever, guys. I'll see you in part 3, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.